Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. Happy first Tuesdays in 2023. We're back. As you probably noticed, we've changed our look a little bit. The set is different. The graphics are different. It's all different. But some things never change. For example, the establishment media is still lying about everything, and it is still no less mendacious than it was before we went on break. In fact, in some ways, it's even worse. The New York Times, for example, which spent most of last year insisting that the war in Ukraine would be over by Christmas, that Vladimir Putin would be forced to withdraw his troops, and that Santa would be delivering peace on earth, goodwill to all men by December, is now saying just the opposite. The war will drag on for years and years, they say, and America must brace for World War III. That is the new consensus at the New York Times over at CNN. They are running a series of segments warning that right-wing populism is a threat to democracy here at home. So naturally, they're spending a lot of time on Tucker Carlson Tonight. That's what they do. They always have. And it's very nice to be back in their crosshairs. What does it mean? Well, it means we're doing something right. That is how you know you're really making a difference when the corporate media feels compelled to spend weeks manufacturing a hit piece about you. And believe us, there are many more to come. So let us be clear, we're not interested in being liked by the establishment media. We're not part of their club, and we don't want to be. So feel free to keep on hating. It's very liberating. Here's what else we've learned over the last few months. The real power in Washington, D.C., resides not with any one party, but with a small group of unelected bureaucrats who direct our foreign policy, control our borders, enforce compliance with COVID shots, and generally run the country according to a plan that no one ever voted on. These people have been remarkably successful. Our leaders tell us inflation has been conquered. In reality, prices continue to rise at the fastest pace in for decades. Our leaders tell us the border is secure. In reality, millions of people have crossed into the country illegally, and most of them stay. Our leaders tell us that America is safer now than it was a year ago. In reality, crime is skyrocketing across the country, and no one seems to care. How have they accomplished this feat? How have they managed to maintain so much power while delivering such obviously disastrous results? Well, it's a combination of arrogance and fear. They're arrogant because they believe they're smarter than everybody else. They're so much better. Educated, they know so much more about economics and vaccines and race relations. So they tell us that everything is fine when it's clearly not, because they know best. But there's another reason. There is a second reason why our leaders keep telling us everything is fine, when it obviously isn't. And that's fear. They're afraid of the people. They know perfectly well that if they were to tell us the truth, if they were to acknowledge the obvious, they would be swept out of office by an angry electorate. They would be replaced by someone who actually knew how to fix the problems they created. And that's a fate that none of them, quite understandably, wants to suffer. So they lied to us, and unfortunately, until very recently, we kept on lying with them. We participated in the fiction. We pretended along with the rest of the establishment media that everything was fine, that there were no serious problems anywhere in the country. Not anymore. We are living in a new age, the age of permanent political warfare. If you want to get ahead in this environment, you need to be able to think strategically, to see beyond the lies and the propaganda, to understand the real centers of power and how they work. In other words, you need to be able to think like a certain kind of person, a kind of person who doesn't watch much television, certainly doesn't watch cable television, and shuns the cheap digital distractions that keep us all in the dark.